be Mahomes and Rodgers as the best two quarterbacks in the league. I still believe that. Rodgers on another team to where he was happy, that'd be a scary thought. And there's still talk, some of these analysts still say that he may be a Bronco next year. I don't know that he would want to come here.
Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah.
And look, the Broncos, they have a lot of talent. The issue, however, is this. The coach and the quarterback, more specifically the quarterback, they have not been able to find anyone. They have got rotated through many different quarterbacks. I just don't see Aaron Rodgers coming in and playing a second fiddle to Mahomes in the league. I don't see Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson doing that because, as we know, the Chiefs are just that good.
Yeah.
Take your chances in another division like the AFC South. That's where you can really run things, if we're being honest.
Exactly.
If you really want to run things, go to the AFC South.
Yeah. Go to a division that you're going to thrive in. Pull a Brady. Pull a Tom Brady. Go from one crappy division to another crappy division.
Well, the Saints were running that thing, but basically Brady took – because the Bucs, man, they had tons of talent. No quarterback. But what we see at the end of the day is they continue to struggle.
Yeah, and they're struggling right now. I mean, they're still struggling. No matter how you look at it, they're beating teams that, again, same as the 2019 season, 0-1 and 2 and 3 win teams that they're slaughtering. But then when it comes down to some of the teams like the Eagles and somebody that they just lost to, Washington football team, they shouldn't, a top contender should have never lost to them. I'm sorry, but they shouldn't have. So when it really all boils down to it, and Brady's only, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's 1 or 2 interceptions behind Mahomes right now on the season. So, Mahomes was leading the league in interceptions for 1 week. And then that went downhill. Everybody else started throwing him left and right. We can talk about the rest of the AFC. I mean, you got the Browns that are just, I don't know, man. I mean, they're up and down. They got players that want to leave still. Baker's causing a lot of issues within that organization. And they got to make a decision. They're going to have to make a decision on their own. It's, do we want to lose every player we got, or do we want to keep a quarterback that's chasing everybody off? And that's kind of where it stands right now. I mean, it's not just
they got decisions.
That said it, so
they got to figure something out. They do.
I know this show's been kind of a little bit all over the league, but we try to incorporate some of the other stuff that goes on in the league as well. And the Browns are a team that, when we played them, they look like the team we were going to be playing in the AFC Championship game. They really did. Now they look like a team that may not make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So it tells you how quickly things can go downhill. The Chargers the same way. The Chargers aren't looking that great. They're wishy-washy. So you got a lot of teams out there that I guess you can get to call them posers. But at the end of the day, the truth and the real talent comes out and the grit comes out when the struggles happen.
That's fair.
And that's where we've kind of come on strong. We had our struggles. We fought through it, whether it be internally with players and everything else. And look at us, 4-game winning streak, probably getting ready to be a 5-game winning streak. And I still believe, man, I don't know about you, but I think by the end of this season, we're going to be ranked at least top 10 in defense.
Well, I agree with you. I think I agree with your statement, man. I think this game upcoming is a top 10. This is a crucial game.
Yeah, definitely.
And this is where we really, really need the defense to step up and really, 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 really need the offense to show up and score.
Yeah.
And make a statement.
Yeah.
That's what we really need at this point, because the Broncos, if you just kind of let them be, they'll figure it out. I mean, if you let them in there, they'll figure it out. The Chiefs need to bury them early, quick.
Yeah.
They need to score. We can't have the Broncos game we had last year where we just kind of let them hang around. No, those days are over. We need to put the hammer down, continue the gas on the pedal. I think Andy finally has realized that, hopefully, put the metal to the pedal, because we cannot continue to let these teams hang around. When you do that, I was talking to my dad about this. When the Chiefs beat the Buccaneers almost came back and won. I believe, and my dad believes, that gave them hope. Andy did not want to push the pedal to the metal. Since he didn't do that, I believe that's kind of what bit the Chiefs in the behind when it came to the Super Bowl. If we could continue to bury them, we would have been able to had a better chance in the Super Bowl. Now, granted, we could say injuries and all that, but I think we've had a better fighting chance. That's just my personal opinion. But if you let teams stay, if you let those teams stay around and they think they can beat you, no, you can't do that, Andy. And I know he wants that respect, but sometimes you got to say, nah, this is not the time nor the day. We're going to beat you up, and that's what the Chiefs need to continue to do. Belichick has been successful. Now it's time for Andy to do it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean. And you know, you noticed, I mean, he didn't have to get that last touchdown against the Raiders, but he did. And
I mean, you need to continue. I don't care, man. You got to continue to pedal to the metal at this point.
If the clock's still running, you're still running.
You got 60 minutes you're supposed to play.
Yeah.
Plays come down the last couple seconds. So you have to do what's best.
That's right. And I think, you know, and like I said, there's the difference you've seen between the Raiders game and the way the game was called versus the Dallas game.
Mm-hmm.
There were two totally different genres, I guess, if you want to put it that way, of the way that game was called, or those two games were called. And it was a little upsetting to me to see it happen. I wanted them to have a little bit more of an offensive statement, but again, a win's a win. The defense made a statement like none other. And Mahomes was very humble about it. He said, hey, our defense again stepped up and did their job and kept them from scoring. And that's, you know, that's what you have to do. You have to have balance on both sides of the ball. And
that's true.
We're starting to get that balance back. You know, again, there was trust issues with the offensive line, which I'm sure, I don't know if it was so much trust issues. It wasn't so much a trust. I can't put it that way. That's not the correct term. A lot of people have used that term. It wasn't trust. It was knowledge. It was, do these offensive linemen know what to do when I do this? You know, are they capable, not capable, are they ready to take on that role of what I do and be able to handle it? They're a top 3 offensive line right now. I think they're top 3 in the league, not 2. I think they're the number 2 offensive line in the league, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
They should be number 1, really. You got a guy that really should be rookie of the year on an offensive lineman that should be rookie of the year. And I don't know, man. I mean, it looks like to me that between the acclimation and the gelling of everybody coming together, that helped tremendously. Adding Melvin on the defensive side of the ball helped tremendously. Mahomes not being trapped in the pocket, using it when he needs to and moving out when he needs to. If he rolls out and there's a wide open pocket, who cares? He's still the best quarterback in the league. Let him make his own decisions.
Well, now he has more freedom, so he's playing like Mahomes plays.
Exactly. And when he did have that freedom during the Dallas game, that's what kind of caused a little rift. He made a decision and somebody didn't like it. Oh, well, you know what? Go cry in your milk, because when he makes those decisions win games. Yeah. So if you don't like it, cry in your Wheaties. You know, I mean, it just is what it is. So, you know, all the big talk and the big banter and the big, speeches and all the other crap doesn't get you anywhere. It's what you do on the field and how you perform when you're coaching these guys, and you can see the difference. Just that, it's that simple, man. But again, that's all going to be alleviated, in the off season. So we'll see how that goes. What about the USC situation? How about that money?
Hey, man, all I will say is this. I like it. I love it for college football. I like Lincoln Riley as a coach. He helped make Oklahoma really great after Stoops. Brian Kelly, I mean, I was a fan of Cincinnati when he was with them back in the day. I'm not a big fan of Notre Dame. Never have, never will be. That's always been. They need to join a conference. But he helped build them up to another powerhouse. and he's with LSU, and I like LSU more specifically because I like watching like Tyrann Mathieu back in the day. But looking at these coaches move, I'm going to say this. People should not get mad that players are getting money when you see coaches getting these $10 million deals per year. They're making $10 million per year. Also, coaches should not get mad if players try to protect their future and say, I don't want to play in a bowl game.
Yeah.
Because if you get hurt, that coach is most likely not going to help you.
Exactly.
From what I've seen, coaches like Dabo Swinney, Nick Saban, more specifically Dabo Swinney, he puts out persona that it's my way or the highway. I don't care whether issues are going on. This is football. This is what we're here to do. And that's it. I mean, everybody loves each other when they're winning, but whenever you're losing and you're having issues happening at that time, you see real character. Yep. And what I've kind of seen mostly in college football realm is it's long overdue. College players deserve to be paid. I mean, seriously, we are coming to watch the game. We are not coming to watch the coach's coach. We're watching to see the players play. And you're telling me the university can make millions and millions and millions of dollars off their likeness. Johnny Manziel, my friend, would have made so much money if he had NIL. Tim Tebow, Lamar Jackson, Reggie Bush would have made more than what he supposedly got. It's ridiculous. He can't even get his Heisman Trophy back because he got some money. These guys are out there busting their behind. If they get hurt, it's either football, it's going to NFL or bust for many of them. If they get hurt, a lot of them are getting degrees where it's not going to propel them because from what I've seen from a lot of football players and kind of listening to YouTube videos, they went to school to play football, not to go for academics, if we're just being honest.
Yeah.
And at this point, what I've noticed is this is going to make the college football a lot better. As you look at the Pac-12, there's not really one dominant team. Oregon used to be that team. There's not really that dominant team. Lincoln Riley's about to take over the Pac-12.
It really is.
Which is going to be terrific because I have always liked watching USC. They were good under Mark Sanchez. That's some team I follow. But ever since like the Ducks have fell off, they really haven't been there.
Yeah.
When you switch down to the SEC with Brian Kelly, hey, man, the Chiefs always get their defenders from the SEC.
Yeah.
We always get our defensive linemen from Florida State, these places down there.
Yep.
So I'm saying this. If Brian Kelly can recruit mainly from Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and get those guys in, he's going to win a natty. And what that's going to do is that's going to help the Chiefs because we can pick players from those teams.
Yeah.
Every single year you have defensive players come out of LSU. And I know Tyrann's happy with the move, but all I would say is this. It's good for college football. I don't like how it was done. No one really does, but it is what it is. It's a business. So people who get mad at players for sitting out games for their health, for the draft, keep that same energy for when a coach does that. Because Brian Kelly, when he was at Cincinnati, left before the Sugar Bowl and they were undefeated to go take the Notre Dame job.
Yep.
The Notre Dame could most likely make the college football playoffs, and he's already at LSU.
Yep.
So, I mean, you can't have two different sides of the story. You got to pick something, one or the other.
You do. And look at that. I mean, and you're talking about that too, because I went to school with a guy that ended up going to Nebraska. And when he got brought up there, they gave him an apartment, paid for his apartment, bought him a brand new Lincoln, very nice one. I can't say the boosters did, and the recruiters. And he got busted with those, they all got busted out doing it. It wasn't just him. They paid there was a couple other players they hooked up as well. And when it all broke down and it came apart, the friend of mine that I went to high school with, he ended up getting injured it was, in fact, weirdly enough, it was the last game of the season before he was NFL bound. There was no doubt about it. He was NFL bound. Absolute animal, dude. The guy in high school, to give you an example about this guy, he was a defensive player, 6'6", 295 pounds. No, I'm sorry, 6'6", 333 pounds. And at halftime, he would rip his uniform off, grab a tuba, play during halftime, and then put his uniform back on and finish the game. That's how serious he was about it. And it was funny because he used to cheat off me in math and drafting class because he just didn't have that he didn't have it. I mean, he just didn't have that, mentality. Cause I mean, he was beat up a lot,